Good afternoon, everybody. It's not hot in New York City at all, and I don't care what anybody says about that. I'm Zach Quinto, and this is my newly married producing partner, Neal Dodson.
Not married to each other.
No, that's true. But we're thrilled to be here, so thanks to Digitas for having us. And just a little bit of history. 3 years ago, we started our production company. We're 2/3 of the production company, and we're sorry that our producing partner, Corey Musa, can't be here, but something tells me he's probably watching us on some kind of live stream situation, so shout out to the man in LA. We've done a lot in 3 years. We've produced 2 feature films, we've sold 3 television series, we've published 1 comic book, and we're about to publish a graphic novel at Comic-Con this year. We're going to be announcing that project. And in the midst of doing all of this different stuff, one of the things that's been really important and interesting to us is to explore the territory of digital media. And so we've done no fewer than 10 projects on our own with friends and collaborators along the way, and really sort of tested different ways of getting those out there and the effectiveness of the different platforms that is possible to utilize in terms of telling stories, which is ultimately what is our bottom line. And it's been really exciting, and it feels like a real convergence right now in terms of the new possibilities in terms of new media. So we're talking to you guys today about some specific ideas.
Yeah, and as we played around a little bit in new media, we started by putting things on Funny or Die and playing with YouTube, and we did a thing that we sort of released exclusively through the Huffington Post, and we built a sort of series of short films with a group that's based in Brooklyn that led to the feature that we just finished shooting. So it was sort of, in a way, we used the new media platform to figure out their style and our style working with them in order to develop it into a feature that we just finished shooting. But the project that we're here to talk to you about today is our first attempt at putting something together in the branded space, and we're excited to show you a little video clip that we shot this weekend.
We shot it on Saturday, we edited it on Sunday and Monday, and we sent it to them on Tuesday, so hopefully it'll work. Can we play that? Thank you. So, your place or mine?
For what?
For sex.
Wow. No, I'm sorry. No, this is a blind date. We get to know each other, see if there's a future there.
Oh, it's gonna be a for you once over that table. Let's get out of here and get this thing started.
No! You are you disgust me.
Did you ever hear of that before?
I wouldn't sleep with you if you were the last guy on Earth.
So, your place or mine? Thank you. So one of the things that we feel really strongly about in terms of content, in terms of creativity online, is malleability. And this is an idea that's obviously really specific in its execution right here, because we had such limited time and resources to actually put something together to give you a sense of the overall concept, which is certainly very broad, but the execution is really manageable and really specific. And one of the things that we think is also really important in terms of telling stories online is interactivity. How do you engage an audience in this platform where now everything is being shown and told in one place. And we think that's a really, really exciting and really important. So, for example, with this idea, it caters in its current incarnation to an edgier, sort of crass side of storytelling, but it's really in its concept possible to manipulate that, to cater it, to specify it to the needs of not just one brand but many brands. So one of the ideas that we had was that the character, especially the guy character in execution, would be much more extreme, much more prosthetics or wigs, or and through the course of the story, learns, because he has to learn, how to court this woman and how to actually woo her in a way that's going to get him somewhere and start this repopulation process back up together. And that the audience can really be a part of that. The audience can help us guide him and guide her through the perils of their journey together.
The idea itself obviously is a big concept, but it's, as he said, it's sort of manageable execution. And the other thing in terms of the brand possibilities, which excited us, it's easy to come up with ideas that can happen in a short form, but it's not as easy. And when the idea was brought to us by a feature writer-director named Hank Nelkin in LA, one of the things that excited us about it is a show that takes place on an empty Earth. It's not an empty Earth in terms of there's nothing there. There's just no people there. So they're on a planet that has everything that has ever existed on the planet, including every brand that has ever existed on the planet. So, for instance, one of the episodes that we've been discussing is the idea that she's very, very hungry for yogurt, and her friend there who's trying to woo her has decided that he has to go find the last unexpired cup of yogurt in the world. And that's just sort of a way to get across the notion that every brand, whether it be cars or technology or food or clothing or alcohol or whatever it is, can be incorporated into this because they're on an empty planet. It's also one of the action sort of phrases that we want to engage the audience with, both through social networks and possibly through some sort of ARG, would be what would you do on an empty Earth? What are the opportunities that you would take advantage of? What car have you always wanted to drive? What have you always wanted to do with your time? And now that you've got the entire planet to play with, how would you go about doing that? Zach?
Yes, Neal. Oh, look what's happening. The other thing I do want to say just before we continue is a special thanks to Sean Akers, who also works with us at Before the Door and who is largely responsible for putting all of that stuff together. And he also couldn't be with us here today, but thank you to him for all of that work. Aside from this idea, we're really interested in exploring this space. We've been exploring this space on our own, and now we're really interested in forging relationships that allow a lot of these questions to be answered. Because one of the things that we were talking about is that, for example, the interactivity of any story that you want to tell online has to be specific to the partner with whom you're telling that story. So the notion that whether it's this idea or any of the other 12 ideas that we have with us here, the partnership is what's really important, and we're really interested in forging those partnerships and having those conversations. And I wasn't sure what to expect when we came here to the conference, but all the people that I've met and all of the things that I've heard being talked about are really inspiring in terms of people really trying to explore new territory and territory that is very obviously the territory that we're all moving into. A lot of the people that I've engaged in terms of my fan base spend a lot of time online, so I've had a lot of feedback about what people are looking for and what people are interested in, and it seems to us that the best way to get eyes on what you're trying to sell, what we're trying to sell, is to make good content and to lean into good storytelling and to take risks and be brave and to trust that that quality will draw that energy in.
Yeah, and when you have, when somebody like David Fincher or Kevin Spacey makes a Netflix deal, and so that content that they're going to create and spend tons of money and have the greatest creative minds in the world working on is going to be on all the same devices that all of us are watching all of our other content on, it means that the content has to get better. And so we feel like our work in features and television and now in new media stuff really lends itself to trying to create content that can compete with that. And we hope that you as brands and buyers and all those people are excited about that opportunity as well, and that you can give a certain level of trust, whether it's to us or whatever other content creator, there's some amazing people here, to go make content that is better and that takes risks and is willing to say, we want to be different. We want to stand out in this marketplace, and not just sort of make content that's good enough. It has to be better because it has to compete with sort of all the content that's out there. And we have a whole slate of things that do that, but this is obviously the project we're talking about today, and I think we're good. We've got 143.
We're counting down. Are there any questions or anything we can say before we get off the stage? No? All right. It's a good room here. We're happy to be here, and thank you guys for having us. And enjoy the rest of the conference. And we'll be around, and hopefully we'll catch up with some or a few of you in the near future. Be well.
Thank you
guys.